Young Miami recently went viral with a post. And we're going to start out with Young Miami because I think this is appropriate. You guys know with the longer form content, I react to posts you send me. So somebody sent me this, and I'm still laughing at this post. And it's just so funny how till this day, it's like this stuff never gets old, right? Every day you see an opportunity to look and be shocked. And you think to yourself, you really can't make this shit up. So she recently tweeted this. I'm assuming this is on Twitter, but I'm reading this from my threads, which is kind of like Twitter. I'm on threads. It says, I want to settle down and start a family. So if you're reading this and you don't know who Young Miami is, you may think to yourself, okay, great. You want kids and you want a husband. I'm sure plenty of women out here want that, and good luck to you. But then you don't realize that she already has kids. And this is what everybody was kind of shocked about. Like, how do you want to start a family when you already have pretty much attempted to, at your best ability to do that, which is now a broken home, right? I reposted this on my threads with the caption, saying you want to start a family after 2 kids and several freak-offs is insane. Drink the coffee.
Drink the coffee. It'll make you feel better.
Here you had some comments from the people that follow me over here on threads. I'm going to start posting more on there just to let you guys know, so you can check me out on there. Top comment here says, of course, this is from a chick. She's offended. She says, so what, men? So what? My bad. No comment there. Men do it all the time. 7 likes on that post. And another person here says, in the black community, a majority of kids are made out of lust and promiscuity. We down bad. Let's see some more comments. Yikes, looks like Santa forgot her espresso machine. LOL. Yes, she does not drink coffee, obviously so. Here's another person who added, this isn't her final form. Watch her turn to religion next, like Brittany Renner. As somebody who has a respect for my faith, and you are allowed to respect your faith, I think it's really disappointing when I see people who fake the religious thing just to pretend. And you see more of that now more than ever. I'm not surprised. She might actually do that because, contrary to what people may believe, when I see anybody trying to better their life, I look at them and I say, hey, I'm happy for you, right? If you have children, those children are innocent. They didn't ask to be a product of freak-offs. They didn't. They didn't ask to be a product of anybody's bad decisions. And so, especially in that situation, I look and say, those children deserve better. If you're actually going to live a better life, then that's what's up. But if you're out here faking it, pretending like, oh, now I'm ready, because you see that the city girl act didn't pay off. It didn't pay off to act up. It didn't pay off to act bad. And once you're done living that lifestyle, you now have to suffer the consequences. I think she's not the only one who made a turnaround. If you look at someone like JT, who was her partner in the City Girl duo, JT's now living that life where she's now very seriously attached in a real relationship. What does this show you? All these chicks eventually realize that they want the very same thing they'll clown other women for. The lyrics, when you listen to a lot of these chicks' songs, the lyrics clown the women who sit there and serve their man, cater to their man. Because if you want a family, that means that you want a husband. And if you want a husband, that means you're going to have to treat that man good, treat that man right. It's not about the Birkin bags. It's not about what you can get. It's not about the dollar signs. If it is, then this is just the very beginning of pain and suffering. I thought this was crazy. But she got really triggered because someone responded back. And this was the true highlight of the post. Someone responded back to her and said, you got peed on. If you don't remember, Young Miami a while back admitted to how she enjoys literally getting urinated on, which is a crazy thing to admit to the internet when you have children who are going to be able to look back and say, I wonder what my mom stood for and what she really tried to champion over time. And in her case, it's going to be a lot of really embarrassing moments like this. And don't tell me that these women don't care, because every single chick who went viral or came up off some stuff that was like very, very, very contrary to the image of a wife and who they want to be. Now look at Kim Kardashian. There was a point where she didn't care. She was trying to really leverage that adult film that she released in the past. But now what is she doing? She's doing everything to try and erase that past. I remember seeing a video of somebody talking about how they showed like one of her kids stumbled on her video, or she fears one of her kids stumbling on her video from the past, and she started tearing up. Same thing in this situation that you see right here. I think the one thing we can take from the Travis Hunter situation that really relates and applies to all women across the board, regardless of your age, is that your past, what? Your past matters.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
That's the espresso shot that I think a lot of women are realizing. That's why they don't like that whole situation. They don't like how much your past matters to other men. They do not like to see how much men really value being respected in other men's eyes. It's a huge thing to be respected by the men in your life. Wifing up a thought is not something a respectable man does, or something that he gets respect from other men for doing. Speaking of Travis Hunter, I promise you I'm not going to talk about the situation anymore. I know somebody said, oh, no, please, bro, leave it alone. It's not about him. It's not about him. I saw somebody make this post and comment about the whole particular situation, and they were asking men to back off, right? And I did back off. Don't think I didn't see that second video that dropped with her and another dude's house exposing her for cheating, allegedly, yet again, within the 5 years that they said they were together. I ignored that. I said, you know what? It's Christmas. It's Christmas, bro. Let's let this man live, right? At this point, he has made his decision. But check this out. Here is a very good point that I think needs to be addressed even more. Check it out.
I'll show you how people can be a hypocrite. Watch the hypocrisy.
Dig up everything they can find on this girl.
Watch.
To try to get Travis Hunter to leave her.
Wait for it.
Do y'all want to date him?
Wait.
Y'all do realize people themselves.
Oh, really? So when Simone Biles was telling y'all leave her husband alone because her mental health, did y'all listen? Hold on, let me play the clip. Is this you?
I am here because I refuse to let the world forget that her boyfriend pretended like he didn't know who she was.
So going off your logic, did you want to date Simone Biles when y'all kept on antagonizing her husband, using every single clip he ever spoke about when it came to his wife, every photo, to harass him to the point where Simone had to make a post saying leave her husband and her family alone?
That is so true. That is so true. You guys have seen the amount of videos I've made about Simone Biles and her husband. I've been legitimately perplexed, bro. Perplexed at the logic of modern women. I'm confused. Every day I get in front of this camera, I'm confused. Every day. They say, oh, what's up with this NFL players not wifing beautiful black women? And the men who are actually wifing black women, what do? They shit on these men. Instead of celebrating Jonathan Owens and his relationship with Simone Biles, what do? They found every opportunity to disrespect him, even though she asked them to stop. And in this situation, when it comes to Travis Hunter, they're defending the chick because they don't like the idea that a woman can be exposed for her past. They don't like that. They don't want that coffee. No.
No, I'll have a tea, actually.
You got to think of being a woman watching this, and you know you've been a 304. And there might be some proof out there. Like a lot of proof. You'd be shaking in your boots. You would not be championing this. You'd think like, man, we need to make this not a common thing for men to do. But they did not celebrate Simone Biles. No, they didn't care if Jonathan Owens was thinking of deleting himself and how that was affecting his and her mental health. No, they kept going, and in fact, probably will still keep going. But want us to have sympathy. Travis Hunter's girl? Come on.
Y'all did that with Nicki Minaj. Y'all did that with Summer Walker. Y'all did that with Y'all did that recently with Diddy, G, and Holly. So when y'all feel like a man is bad for a woman, y'all can speak, harass, even though y'all messing her mental health. But oh God, let the man come and try to help a dude out while dudes is posting this girl doing the egregious of things. Oh my God, y'all must want to date him. Y'all must want to be with him. Come on, bro, that's some hypocrite junk, bro. Y'all steady hypocritical on this internet, bro. People like your content too. I be watching your content. So for me to see you post this something like this, I ain't never knew, bro. I swear to God, this proves that all y'all creators on here be living two personalities, bro. Cause that's hypocritical. You cannot say that, bro.
I actually didn't see that perspective until I saw his video and he mentioned, I think somebody else too, addressed that. That's a very good point. That's a very, very good point. It is a terrifying thing, and I promise you, it is a terrifying thing for a lot of these chicks to think that there could be a possibility of them being exposed for their past and people that they've dated. I think that's what a lot of what we see right now, like the backlash of the chicks who are against exposing Travis Hunter's girl. They don't like that, right? They don't like that at all. You had people like even Cheyenne Bryant. I saw she made a post about like leave them alone and so on and so forth. And the women, of course, weren't really for it. Granted, there were women who did support it, and they can see through the emotions surrounding it all. All right, what else do we have here? You know, let's see here. I get a lot of content, so let's see. What is she talking about? Let's see.
A lot of feminine, innocent-looking women like to be dominated for real. Like, she wants you to tear her up in the bedroom. I'm so serious. Don't let any, like, innocent-looking, pretty-faced girl fool you. Like, women like to be dominated. And, yeah, we want you to tear us up. Tear us up and make us feel like I'm crazy if I ever deal with another nigga. Like, I want to be able to say, like, yo, my nigga he be tearing me up. I ain't never dealing with nobody else.
So she says a lot of feminine women like to be torn up in the bedroom, right? Tear me up, she says. And let's check out some of these comments, see what the people have to say. Top comment here says, wait, ma'am, why are you snitching? So here, let's read a few more. It says, sis, now why are you telling our secrets, but all facts? Here's another person who says, the laugh at the end, something came to mind, LOL. Here's another one that says, my wife is that, and she'd definitely be saying that. So I think, in all honesty, and you know this, most men who've dealt with women know that, like, all women want that. Yes, including the masculine ones too. They just have a higher standard of the type of man who they can allow to conquer them, you know, mentally. You know, sex is all mental. But I do think that beyond sexual gratification, masculine women really, when dealing with another masculine man, really don't bring as much value. I don't know why somebody sent this to me, but I do agree with this. I think that all women, right, there's a select few who like to dominate other men. Maybe you're into that. That's crazy to me. I'm not personally into that myself. I think there are men who like getting told what to do. Some men are really into that stuff, right? I think that goes with the same guys who like being told what to do in the relationship and kind of bossed around. But all women enjoy this, including the masculine ones. But I don't think this video right here is what the person who sent me this really wanted me to address. I think they wanted me to touch on this because they sent a second video here. Let's check it out. Let's see.
A lot of feminine, innocent.
No, wasn't it? Feminine, innocent women. Let me see. All right, I think it's this one.
I like niggas that got that dog in them. I ain't about to sit here and act like I don't have a type and let people make me feel bad about it. Like, oh, she only like hood niggas. Nah, I like niggas that got that dog in them. When you're back against the wall, when you put in positions to where you gotta stand on all 10, I need to see that. I need to know that you could do that. I need to know that you've been through something. I need to know that you're not easily manipulated. Like, you ain't just, you know, you're not the type of niggas could just get to do whatever. Like, I need to see that. You gotta have that dog in you to mess with me.
Okay. So she says, I had that dog in you to mess with me. So she says, I like dudes who've got that dog in them. I think she was responding back to somebody who was accusing her of only liking hood dudes, is what it sounds like. So she said something about
that dog in them. When you're back against the wall, let people make me feel bad about it. Like, oh, she only like hood niggas. Nah, I like niggas that got that dog in them.
Yeah. I've seen a few different videos from chicks who talk about how they want the type of guy who will pop off at any moment, regardless of the situation, and protect them, right, from a physical perspective here. Here's the thing. I think there's a healthy way of looking at this. A man who doesn't tolerate disrespect, a man who doesn't tolerate disrespecting his woman, a man who's going to stand up for his own respect and for the people he protects around him. And also a man who's willing to fight, just in general, isn't a pushover. Yes, especially a feminine woman would really appreciate that, really appreciates that. Now, there are chicks out here who they're attracted to those pseudo-masculine qualities. They think protection is, I can mouth off to anybody I want in any given situation, and it doesn't matter because you're always ready to pop off. That's different, right? If you're the type of person who wants to put your man in toxic situations, and I'm not saying that she is, but I'm trying to differentiate how different people may translate this. If you're the type of woman who likes to put men in toxic situations and you are drama, or you want to test him continuously, because all women test. All women will try you at least once. They'll try you. They'll try to see if you'll check him, and you should check him. They'll try to see if you stand up for him around other people, and you should. A man should protect and stand up for his woman, not your friend. No, not your homegirl, not the random chick who's arguing with another man. That's up to him, but I don't think that's his obligation. His obligation is to the women who he cares about in his life, and that includes his woman. But if you're going around trying to instigate situations, that's what men don't like. And there are a lot of chicks with that type of mindset. And it's really prevalent when you're a man, and a black man even more, because there's always that low threat of violence when two men are dealing with each other, right? But I think every man should stand up and protect his woman, and she should feel confident about that for sure. Now, do I think that all these chicks who are looking for a man who's got that dog in him, do I think they are coming at that from the perspective of non-toxicity? Of course not. Of course not. This is hilarious. This dude here just commented, woof, woof. That's funny. Another chick here says, so real, ain't got to be hood, just be solid. Somebody else here added, I need that dominance. Want to be dominated. She said, somebody else responded back, for real. Another person here added, no, let's go down this thread. Let's go down this thread. This, for real, real, real. All right. See, I know some of these women are toxic, bro. Some of these chicks, dominance, they want you to put hands. Hey, let me not go crazy. The coffee pot is promoting violence. Some of these chicks are crazy. Here's another person who says, you actually articulated this well. Here's another person who says, this would be a hard intro. This dude's already thinking of a rap song. Oh, man. The Skeleton Gremlin. That's his username. So I don't know. Somebody else here added, and it doesn't have to be no hood, nothing, just of integrity and character. I get it. Do you get it? I get it. It makes sense. As a man, I wouldn't want anybody I care about. I have a sister. I wouldn't want her with a man who I knew could not step up to the plate when he needed to without hesitation. Here's another comment that says, you need Denzel Washington in Equalizer. Another chick here says, a protector. I'm so heavy on protecting me at all times. One of my top priorities. I do want to say this. I do think that there is an expectation that I think a lot of black men should learn to let go of. And that is this expectation that you have to be an extremely violent man in every situation, right? That the first option should be violence. I think there's like an expectation for a lot of black men to be that. You don't have to be that. Why do you put that on yourself? Not every situation calls for that. I think there are other ways that people fight. I think how you conduct yourself when life comes at you and life is hard, and you stepping up to the plate to fight to change your situation. You know, there are a lot of entrepreneurs who are fighters, a lot of people in the political space who are fighters. Some of the most ruthless people out here wear suits, and they fight differently. They fight strategically. And I think more men, in particular black men, would benefit from embracing that. All right. What else do we have here? I want to talk about this woman who's been sentenced for leaving her kids alone for days. Have you guys seen and heard of this story? This chick goes by the name of, let's let that ad play there.
Did you want to sing anything?
Am I tripping, or is this just in one ear?
You're going to make sure something like this doesn't happen.
I think it's just the sound. I think it's just the video.
Dominique Knowles had very little to say to the Fox 8i team after she was sentenced in Rocky River Municipal Court Wednesday on 2 counts of endangering children. Police say she left her young children home alone while she went to Florida February 21st through February 23rd. The judge said 2 of the children have special needs,
one of which had a full-time aide accompanying her in school.
During the hearing, Knowles vowed that something like this would never happen again. She told court officials she went to Florida to help a friend who was getting liposuction. She said she was paid $1,000 a day to go and help.
Okay, so I have to give you guys a bit of a backstory because I think this story is just ridiculous. So this woman goes by the name of, let me see here, make sure I'm getting her name right. Okay, Dominique Knowles. And the story goes that she left her 3 daughters. One of the daughters is 10 years old. And the other 2 daughters are younger, and they're twins with special needs. She leaves them home alone for 3 days to accompany her friend in Miami who's getting liposuction. And so she's over there and checking in periodically through videos. These are kids we're talking about here. She's checking in through videos once in a while, sending them Uber Eats so that they don't starve to death. And here she is at her sentencing. A lot of people are saying that the sentencing was too light. It's one thing if you leave children by themselves for an hour and you're a struggling single mom and you're going to the store to go buy groceries and you hope they're okay and you're calling them continuously and we know you're not supposed to do that, but what else do you do in that situation? It's another thing, though. It's another thing to leave to Miami for liposuction on some city girl mission with your 304, most likely 304, friend and abandon 2 twins and a 10-year-old, and your kids have special needs. And the way that people found out about this was because one of the daughters told her teacher that, hey, we're alone at home. So they end up coming by and checking and found the place in disarray, unknown liquid and substances all over the floor. And so when they finally contacted her, mind you, she's back now, and this is a rough, really quick transition of the story. She denies and lies about the whole thing. They prove that she's lying, and they sentence her. And this just happened recently. In October, she was sentenced to 360 days of house arrest, 5 years of probation, and I believe she was fined too. Let me see, fines and mandatory counseling. She definitely needs that counseling. And the judge emphasized that she needs to be the mother who these kids deserve. The whole time I'm wondering, where's the father? Is he dead? What does it take for the father to get full custody? This just shows you the lengths that a lot of these family courts or even the criminal justice system, the lengths that they will go to make sure that a mother maintains custody of her children. This lady has already proven that she's not fit to be a mother. I don't think those kids should be in her possession. What do you think? Here's a post I saw on social media. We'll check out some comments go along with it here.
As a parent to 3 daughters, I could not imagine leaving my daughters alone at the ages of 7 and 10 for any period of time, much less for 3 days to travel to Miami. I have a difficult time leaving my dogs alone for an extended period of time. You allege that you flew to Miami at the last minute to accompany a friend who was having elective cosmetic surgery, liposuction, and you also stated you were paid to do so. This explanation strains credulity, and I suspect there is more to this story and why you chose to fly to Miami for 3 days in February.
I personally think she went there for a man. I personally think she probably was abandoning her children for a man. It's not facts. I'm just shooting this out there, telling you guys what's honestly going on in my mind. But Chisha, of course you're going to assume the worst. Yeah, I'm going to assume the worst. When a woman is going to abandon her special needs twins who are under 10, they're 7 years old, and also a 10-year-old to fly to get liposuction, and she thinks that's a good enough excuse, then of course I think that you're capable of doing a lot worse things. What do you think? Comment down below. All right, so that's that. Let's check out some of these comments. Apparently the fine was $800 here because this top comment here says $800 in fines and 5-year probation is a damn joke for this. Let's see what the responses were. Somebody else responded back and says, agree. Here's a woman who says, I mean, you wanted her to do jail time and be away from her kids forever? I feel she may have learned from her mistakes and deserves a second chance to redeem herself and do right for her children. Now, if this was a dude, if this was a man in this situation, do you think that they would be any mercy shown? I think when it comes to kids, man, it's really important to catch things like this early. Maybe because I'm passionate about this. Maybe because I'm finally now a father. But when I hear this, I think of my kids. I can't imagine abandoning my kids with no help at that age. And when I say abandon, I mean like, of course, leave them for 3 days and plan to come back. Somebody else who says, not the way she's rolling her eyes in court. Was she rolling her eyes?
Daughters, I could not imagine leaving my daughters alone at the ages of 7 and 10 for any period of time, much less for 3 days.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah. That was a half eye roll. That was a half eye roll. Give this woman some coffee, please. She needs it. Goes on to say she didn't care about them then, and she shows she don't care now. Yes, she should be away from her children. They should be with people who care, not her ASS. And yes, I'm a mom of 5, 12 grandchildren and 2 great grands. Would you, if you are a mom, do that? I think the internet has proven one thing for sure, is that when you see somebody toxic, who's as toxic as a chick like this, just know that there are thousands just like her. And they'll be in the comment section defending it. Let her do her. Life's not just about children. Yeah, but you're a mother. Life stops becoming about you when you have kids. Get it through your head. Here's another commenter who added on and says, it's an absolute joke, and anyone that see it any different is a damn fool. She definitely should have did some time. So it seems like a lot of women here agree. See, these are the older women. They agree. The younger chicks, the more modern ones seem to have a problem. Somebody else here says, this dude says, I'm not saying all that, but she's rolling her eyes in the courtroom. That's not what somebody that's sorry for what they did does. Yeah. She's a piece of work for sure. Let's see if we have any more comments. Somebody else here added, she looked so familiar, I just can't put my finger on it. Here's another person who says, how is she sitting there like she has an attitude? Gentlemen, countless examples that you see all over the internet, especially here on the Coffee Pod, that showcase why you should first have sexual discipline. I don't believe that anything good comes from a man who goes out here and his main priority is seeing how many women he can sleep with. That's number one. And if you can't manage that, at least wrap it up. The last thing you want is this, being the mother of your children. Unless if you, a dude who just doesn't care as well, then we really feel bad for the kids. Somebody else here says the system is failing the kids again. Here's another person who says body language. She's showing she don't care. So sad. Take them kids. Here's another person who says the eye roll would have ended her freedom without question. Some people need a bit of discipline. Some people do need to go to jail. Yes. Yes. Fast, not slow. Yes. Women included. Yes. This chick right here. Some of them never learn. Somebody else who says her demeanor says she'll do it again. It's disgusting. Disgusting behavior. Disgusting behavior. What do you guys think of this situation in particular? Please comment down below. I am curious.
It is so sad that we have a generation of men today that think that they are the prize, to the point where some of you men will literally argue with a woman, argue against the nature of what God designed it and created it to be. I could have sworn it said, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. I could have sworn that's what it says. I had to do a double take because the way some of y'all dudes be arguing over being the prize, I thought the Bible said she who finds a husband. Nope, it don't say that. When you find a wife, you obtain favor physically, spiritually, mentally, financially, all of the above and more. When you find a wife, it's not the other way around, fellas, and you're literally fighting against the nature of what God created it to be. And to see that some of you men have daughters. If you have a daughter and you think this way, you literally created an ungodly environment to where a lot of these women, like your daughters, won't be able to get married.
Dude, of course, the first thing that came to mind is, are these chicks really falling for this? And then I remembered that I didn't pay attention to the likes. Almost 500,000 likes. I mean, like close to 400,000 on there. 10,000 plus comments. They're eating this up. Of course, they're listening to this going, that's right. Amen. Proverbs 18:22. He who finds a wife finds a good thing. Because listen, when I see a lot of older married dudes, and it's typically they'll be married, championing scripture, which I'm all for you sharing what God has put on your heart to share to the world. If you feel that you're called to come out here and say things like this, cool. But when it's false, and I see that you're using the scripture falsely, it reminds me again why a lot of these churches are full of a few men like this on the pulpit, behind the mics, ushering women in board meetings, but 70% of the pews are filled with what? The seats are filled with single women. He's talking about Proverbs 18:22 that says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. Fair. But you know what the problem is? These chicks aren't wives, right? The whole premise of this Bible verse is based in the understanding that wives, when found, are a good thing. That particular verse does not say the wife is the prize. It says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. You know what else the Bible says? It says that there will come a day when 7 wives shall cling to one man and say, please take us. Right? That's from another verse, Isaiah 4:1. But here, just in case you don't agree with what I'm saying right now, let's go check out some of these comments. Check out this top comment that says they want to be the prize and the princess. Right? This is the top comment. Who left this comment? This chick. Here's her TikTok. Right? Here we are. I'm sure I could probably find her on IG. Let's see. All right. Here's her Instagram. Let's see if we got a wife here. Top commenter. All right, here we go. I'm afraid to scroll down because YouTube might flag my video for inappropriateness. A lot of people think, oh, just post it. They'll take it down if it's too much. But let's just test it. Let's see what's happening. Hold on. My computer's about to die. Let me hook it up to a power source. Hold on. And I need more coffee. Okay. All right. Check out this post. Don't let anyone forget effing with you is a privilege. Wife, huh? See, we've got the money posts here. Let's just look at the top here. Real BITCH. First, bad BITCH. Second, love me for my ambition. Sounds like she might be selling cat. We don't know, right? We're not going to jump to conclusions here. Let's go back to my man here talking about how
It is so
when you find a wife, you find a good thing. Do you think that that's who the Bible was talking about? Let's check out another comment. This is second time. I'm just going down the list here, fellas. Okay, accounts on private. Lucky you.
It is so sad.
Let's see what else we got. This is why we need to be with men who know the Lord. But do you know the Lord, man? See, they will definitely champion scriptures and quote all these scriptures, and they do it in the churches, feminist churches, and ignore the part that says you're supposed to submit to your man, that you are a helpmate, that being independent is different and wrong, and interdependence should be the goal. And then you have chicks like this chick who says, I blame Kevin Samuels, a man who said, hey, your standards might be a little bit unrealistic. Hey, maybe you should lose some weight. And she didn't like that. Humble as a dove. Didn't like that. And yet there's just plenty of wives out here that scripture is apparently talking about. Here's another comment here that says, they're not hearing you, Unc. They sassy out here. Somebody else here, let me check. See, and we've got a single mother here. I'm not going to show her kids. I'm not going to do that. This chick commented, my ex said, look at me. I could be with anyone. Anyone wants me and will fight for me. Now he's bald and single. Here's somebody else who says, do you know how many girls want me? So they're quoting other men who they've dealt with. Somebody else here, a chick says, sir, they want to be the wife. The other person here says, this or they're insecure about our accomplishments. Really? They want husbands. Really? This next chick says, we for sure living in the last days. Ebony Wealth chimed in here, ladies and gentlemen. This is the chick talking about we're for sure living in the last days. She's, oh man. Half naked online talking about how we're for sure living in the last days. Insanity. Let me see what else we have here. Kendrick Lamar said it best. Now they're bringing Kendrick into it. Here's somebody else who says, I told my ex he wasn't a princess, and he told me, neither are you. I said, you're right, I'm a queen. I cut him off right then and there. Like, boy, bye. Let's see what she's about. Yeah. Typically, I don't take the older dudes like this very seriously because they ignore observable reality, right? These are the type of guys who say, if you don't have a wife, then you are not a man. Like you haven't accomplished anything in life. Do I think that having a family and a wife is an accomplishment if it's healthy? Yes, I do think that. But I don't think that you necessarily are like your value to the world is judged on whether you are a wife or a husband. I don't think that. Like these would be the same guys who would tell you
obtains favor from the Lord.
Every man should be married. I don't necessarily think that. I also don't think that every man should be out here chasing women as a hobby, right? I disagree with that perspective too. So I do have probably areas where I align with him or other men who, you know, may use the same type of talking points. But I think a lot of these guys just twist up scripture to really just get women to follow them. Let me see what else he has.
Ladies, let me tell you something. When a man really is interested in you and when a man really wants you, you will know. This is how I know that I'm in the Twilight Zone. Because we have a generation of men today where they get mad at women for being independent and they don't create the space for a man to feel needed. Yet those same men also get mad at women for not entertaining the whole 50-50 narrative. Like, do you understand how insidious and how diabolical that is? That's like telling a woman, fellas, how...
So just to clarify what he said there, you're supposed to create the space for you to feel needed. So I guess that space is you coming out of your pockets so that you're paying majority of the bills. Like, this is a great example of what I mean when these dudes give these think pieces. They totally ignore that only a top 10% of men can take care of all the bills without the woman having to contribute in some way. And even if he is making upwards of 100K or more, some of these guys have women who want to contribute or do contribute to some form of the financial obligations. But this is a great example. They will act like reality doesn't exist, right? Ignoring those facts and realities, and feed this delusional narrative.
Dare you be independent and you don't allow me to take care of you halfway. Like, that is that makes my head hurt. That makes my head hurt, dog, because the fact that I have 2 daughters and a son with my wife, and the fact that my daughters are growing up in this generation of men that think this way is nasty work, bruh. It is a new level of diabolical behavior and the thought process that I never thought I would see. Jesus needs to come down right now on a chariot. I know it's an unpopular opinion, but man, I'm thinking about my daughters when I don't know, dude. It's not really the 50-50 thing. It's really more so a mindset that y'all really don't understand that you're exposing these women to. You're basically telling her, this is where I'm going to be. I'm going to stay right here, low vibration, and I want you to join me. I'm not going to try to increase my money, my bank account. I'm not going to try to increase my effort. I'm not going to try to increase the quality of life. I want you to be right here with me halfway. That's what you're telling women.
No, it's not. I don't hear men telling women that, especially the men who value family and still value marriage and want that. They're not telling their women that. They're asking for women to believe in them. Like, for example, the situation that was given, the example that was given by, Dr. Umar, which is a part of me that can't believe I'm actually quoting him on this, but he brought up a very good point of a lot of women not being willing to invest in a man who they see has potential, and he's proven himself that he's hardworking. The problem is when these men actually get to the top, they really just have a hard time taking the chicks who turn them down before seriously, because they realize for the majority of these chicks, most of the reason why they are attracted to them isn't because of shared values, belief in them, wanting a family, but it's majority tied to their economic status. And then you have the reality that most people are going to make an average wage. And a lot of average women want men to not be average when they are in fact themselves average.
When so many of you are so far removed of being masculine.
I see the comment there on the left. Hold on, I got to bring this up on screen.
See,
we're not going to listen to that. It says Derek Jackson 2.0 for real. For real. We've got some more topics here to cover. Long story short, the chicks who are going to applaud this, and while he's quoting scripture and reading all this, they don't read their Bibles anyways. They don't take it seriously. They really don't. And so a part of me, when I see that, I'm like, they don't care. They just like how it sounds, right? Like, they don't truly value those things. They don't truly want those things and what comes with it. I think the men in my community and Brew Brothers who are married, soon to be married, who are engaged, they want that. They have that. They're living that. Yes. I think there are a lot of men who intersect with values I have here who may not necessarily want to get married or have already been married, right? There's a lot of guys who've already been married. But what do I mean? There's coffee being served here. More people here live in reality than we see in those comment sections. You guys saw the chicks who are in the top comments going, amen. We're in the last days. Really, we can't take too much of this seriously. I'm going to actually grab some more coffee here. I just ran out. I'll be back.
I got married 17 days ago, and we're already deciding to call it quits. I was out of town working. I told her when I was coming home, and I came home, and there was another car in the driveway. I go into the bedroom, and my wife is laying in the bed with a couple. A couple. It was a man and a woman. So I started throwing a fit.
What?
They started talking about how she's been their girlfriend for 2 years. So it's like, I've never heard of any of this. And then she decided that she didn't want to be with me anymore. And even though it's only been 14 days, we're looking into getting an annulment, a divorce. I don't even know how it works. We only been married for 2 weeks. But I wanted to actually stick it out. But
You wanted to stick what out, bro? You wanted to stick what out? Oh, no. Oh, no.
But I just want an apology. You know, I want you to acknowledge that you're wrong. You've been in a relationship with these people for 2 years, and I don't even know them, and they're in my house, and I'm away on work. You don't have a job, so you have the time to do these kinds of things. And it's like, for you to have the nerve to say you want to no longer be with me, it just makes no sense because...
Hold on, is this real? Let's check some comments here. The things people tell the internet you couldn't waterboard out of me. You wanted to work it out? There's no way this is real. This has to be some type of a satire. Paige, there's no way this is real. Man has to be an actor. I refuse to believe it.
I'm the one that should be looking to forgive you, but I don't even know how this works, or I don't have anybody to talk to about it. That's the only reason I'm even saying anything on here, because I literally don't even know what to do. But yeah, it looks like after 14 days, our relationship is pretty much over.
I'll say this. If this is in fact a real story, after hearing him talk, I understand why this happened to him. Only a man who would want to work something out after something like that would be susceptible to marrying a chick who then turns around only 2 weeks later to have what sounds like a threesome with another couple, letting them bust the cheeks, fast, not slow. And I know maybe most of you are going to agree with me, but some people are going to say, Chisha, you're being too harsh on him. He wants to work it out because why? I didn't hear anything about children. Even if they were kids in this situation. Guys, let me make something very clear. I'm not somebody who thinks that like there's never a situation for someone to get a divorce. I think people hear me talk about the cheating thing because I definitely do think that people, if they can work through cheating, first of all, you should have that conversation. If you can work through it, then you should. Because I think a lot of, there'll be plenty of situations. Because I've asked people, I've said, hey, I've asked women, I've brought them on the coffee pod. I did this years back. Asked them straight up, you have a perfect man. He's perfect. Shows up to every family function, everything. 10 years in, you guys have a rough patch, right? You found out that he stepped out and he made the mistake of cheating. It's not a mistake. It's a decision. Okay. But otherwise, an amazing man. Would you work it out with him if you knew that he genuinely was sorry and he wouldn't do it again and it's not a chronic Derek Jackson type situation? I think most chicks who hear what I say and it makes sense to them, they already understand this. Shit, they've probably forgiven their man already. I know this is not what this is about, but I'm just trying to make something clear here that there is a time to walk away. There is a time to divorce. And when there's this type of disrespect going on, it doesn't sound like she's remorseful. He's begging for an apology because she did not give him one. She did not say, I'm sorry. If anything, she said, I enjoyed it. It was amazing. At that point, it's time for you to leave, bro. Doesn't look like it's a satire page here. Hold on. What's this post about? Free Luigi? Is it Luigi or Luigi? That's the man with the CEO. And free R. Kelly? Free Diddy? What? Free Dirt? I don't know. This is a crazy list, bro. This is a crazy list.
My Christmas alone. Yes, I'm getting a bunch of stupid text messages about people saying, I saw Spoken Reasons talking about you. I saw this guy on Twitter. They're flaming you in the comments. I don't care, bro. Yes, I was married for 14 days and apparently we're getting a divorce. I don't know. It's still a lot going on. But I don't care about people flaming me in the comments. I don't care about, oh, you're a simp, you're a sucker. When you love somebody, you do what you got to do. All right?
Oh, this dude's serious. Shit.
Yes, I'm spending my 15 days, and apparently we're getting a divorce. When you love somebody, you do what you got to do, all right? So it wasn't on no, oh, you didn't know her long enough. You didn't know her long enough. I've known her forever, all right? And what we going through is what we going through. It's like people don't know how to mind their business. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got.
This is how I know that a man was raised by a woman. When you, number one, you think that love is a good enough decision to marry any woman, that you think that's all you need. This is about love. So what? Number two, you're mad that people are chiming into a situation that they absolutely did not know existed until you came up here on a public platform and told everybody your situation. Then you turn around and say, people need to mind their own business. Come on, bro.
Something to say, but you haven't walked in my shoes. Big deal, okay? Everybody then went through something. People get cheated on. It is what it is. I'm just tripping because my Christmas is being spent alone. I just go and check my safe. I had $16,000 in cash. Every penny to my name, I kept it in my safe. She gone and my money is gone. So I contact the police. They tell me it ain't nothing I can do about it because we married. Me and her texting back and forth. We talking about trying to work it out. I don't know what we gonna do, but contacting me on Christmas telling me, oh, I saw everybody flaming you in the comments, bro. You looking like a simp. You looking like a lion. I don't care, bro.
Wow. Top comment says you put it on social media. Here's another person who says this is for views and engagement. Y'all move. Yeah, this is. This has to be for views and engagement. You brought it on. You brought it to us. Travis Hunter, is that you? Travis is catching strays here on a totally unrelated video. Somebody else who says this is a skit. Gotta be. It's gotta be. I refuse. I refuse to believe that men like this exist in today's day and age. All right, what else do we have here? Let's touch on this topic. I went on a date with a white man. Let's check it out.
Okay, y'all. So I just went on a date with a white man. So his status, he is 6'3". He is 40, no kids, and he works in professional sporting. So we went to this place called First Watch. It is in Westport, Kansas City. It is a breakfast, brunch, and lunch place. And we had, really good conversation. We both have a lot of experience in the service industry and hospitality, so we connected with that. The conversation was just so good, y'all. I was giggling, showing my big white teeth, Lord Jesus. And I just noticed something different from when like an African-American man like gets your number, and then like for a Caucasian man or a man of a different race gets your number. Like for those of a different race, like they ask you for a date immediately. A black man, he drags it out. He want to talk. He want to have conversation, which, previous conversation before asking on a date is important, but they want to drag it out as long as they possibly can before they feel like they're going to spend a dime on you. Yeah, that's why black men gets left on red.
I'm laughing because like she could have told the story in her experience without downing the black men who she's dated in the past, right? That's why black men get left on red. I get sharing your different experiences when dating, and many people do it. But I think it becomes weird when your whole brand or your dating experience is just based on I don't date black men or I don't date black women. And that's like your whole brand. That's who you are, is I don't mess with this particular race of women. When at the end, no one cares. No one cares that much.
Okay. I gave this man my number. Today is Saturday. I don't know what the date is, but today is Saturday. I gave this man my number, no joke, 2 days ago. And he planned this date. Yeah. So, during brunch, we talking, we both got a little like breakfast cocktail. Y'all know I don't drink, but I'm sipping it. It was sweet. The drink was called a cinnamon toast crunch breakfast cereal. It had coconut rum in it. So, I'm, sipping little cute, little this and that. But of course I didn't finish my cocktail. I didn't finish my food. I got full really quick. Fast forward, You know, the date was amazing. He's walking me to my car. He asked me out on a second date while we're still on our first date. And he just hugs me just so tight, and he's just so tall, very well put together, Lord Jesus. He asked me, do I look like my pictures? And I'm just like, no, you look better than your pictures. You know, you look good. You know, he was white. He was bald. He had a
She wants you to know that he was white again, right? Isn't that a little weird? Isn't that a little weird? Did I mention he was white? You know, he was bald, lots of money, and he was white. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching.
full beard that was lined up. How he carried himself made him fine, honey. He had on cowboy boots, all that. You know, so, you know, I'm like, just like, you know, I'm a little smitten. And, you know, he leaned in for a kiss, you know, a couple times throughout the date. And, you know, I curved him. Cute, not anything embarrassing, but, you know, I have first date etiquette. It's just certain things you don't do or say or expose or anything on the first date. Keep it light, keep it airy, keep it, you know, real fluffy. And so he's going out of town, you know, later this week. He said, I'm going to make sure I see you before I go out of town. And I said, okay, yes, sir.
Picture this. Just follow me here for a little bit. When's the last time you've seen a white woman? And I just have to point this out. And I've dated all different types of races before I married my now black wife, right? When's the last time you've seen a white woman get on camera and go, I just went to a date with a black man? Like, why are you celebrating a date with another race like it's not something anyone can just do at any time? I don't see the purpose of, again, making your whole dating experience be an I don't date this other race. Granted, we can all acknowledge things about, I think, any particular race. People like to act like they don't have opinions about different races and dating different cultures. But this is the Coffee Pod. We keep it real. People can acknowledge and say, hey, if you date Hispanic women, be prepared to deal with this. If you date black men, there's this to deal with. If you date black women, here are the, you know, there are those videos. And then there are videos where, you know, you could just see that the whole purpose of this was just to shit on a certain group of men in particular. And in this situation, black men. Remind me of another video. This was an African woman who was also shitting on black men in America. This one was kind of crazy. Check this out. This one's going to surprise you, right? And she was talking about how she was learning more about what black women in the States are dealing with. They have to be the men, and they're taking so much responsibility. Oh no, they're single mothers. Where are the men in the households, right? Not understanding the modern dynamics that people here in the U.S. deal with. Check it out.
Guys, we've had a lot of, back and forth about this passport bro situation.
Oh yeah, she was also talking about passport bros in Kenya.
The one thing that the passport bro conversation has brought to my attention is the amount of responsibility Black American women have towards their society. My goodness. I have never seen a group of women that are so responsible for a lot bigger than themselves. Every person, every artist, I went to a Dave Chappelle concert or comedy show where he was doing a collab with Killer Mike. Actually, I have never gone to a hip-hop concert or event. I'm not a fan of hip-hop, but when listening to Killer Mike, I was like, yeah. He said he would take us to church, and his raps were so cool and very, very touching and so emotional to actually listen because they were telling a story. And when he was expressing himself, telling us about his mother and grandmother, I was like, in Black America, where are the men? Guys, this is just... as an African who's never been to America, guys, tell me, where are the Black American men? And what is their role in the society? Because even here on TikTok, a lot of women who come to, who make content, whatever, majority of them are single women. And then the Black American men are on podcasts bashing these very women for being single mothers. Like, you're bashing women who actually stayed with the kids instead of bashing the men who left the kids.
So it may look like she's this person who is just from afar observing what's happening within the Black community in the U.S. But don't get it twisted. This chick knows exactly what she's doing. In fact, she was exposed. Her next video she made was of her dancing on her bed, right? And here she is. I can't play the actual song, but she's here dancing, you know, having fun. And then someone points out the fact that her husband there can be seen. And then came this next comment in response to her husband right then. Now, mind you, before I read this comment, I'm somebody who encourages everybody to go over there. Appreciated. I don't care. Because it's difficult to find a significant other in today's day and age. But again, pay attention to these chicks, because it's one thing to talk about the dating dynamics and the challenges you have with the people who you date. But it's another thing, again, when you think only one group. But it's another thing, again, when you think only one group of men are the issue, or only one group of women are the issue. I've said plenty of times on here that, like, there are men who comment and say Black women are the only problem in the dating market. That is not true. And this goes, again, these are the same guys who ignore observable reality. There's so many platforms where people talk about modern women in general being difficult in the dating market. Now, I have said that over time, I believe Black women have embraced feminism more than other races. But overall, modern women and feminist-minded women, regardless of their race, are an issue. But these particular chicks who make their identity, I don't date this particular demographic of men, are usually coming from a different place. And it's easy to confuse the two, right? So this commenter says, so she have a colonizer in bed and proud of it, ... Okay.
Make a habit of commenting or replying to such nonsense comments. But for the sake of the slow learners in class, I will do it. I'm assuming she's American. She has to be American because they're the ones who normally have a problem with this. And for me, my issue with this mentality is, why are you choosing a man based off his skin tone, race, ethnicity? Why are you choosing a man based on that? You should choose a man based on his qualities and how he treats you. And
so she's saying that, but she doesn't mean that. And a lot of people don't know this, but there are a lot of African chicks out here who do 100% believe white is right. Go ask you know somebody that's African. Go ask him. The swirl movement is very, very strong within African communities as well. And the truth is, they usually end up realizing at the end that it matters more the values that person brings. And it's not about that person's particular race. Here we have a response to the first chick who was talking about, I went on a date with a white man. Check it out. And I believe that's what this response was to from Dana.
So white men are taking y'all on dates quicker than the Black men? That's interesting. When y'all get on here bragging about that, it sounds like to me somebody bragging about a job that they didn't get. That's exactly what it sounds like. Sound like somebody going around talking about, I interviewed for a job to pay a lot of money and got a lot of good benefits. But did you get the job? No. Then why are you going around telling people about it? Right? Why are you telling somebody about something that you didn't get? It's given desperate and pathetic. It's given, I was just so happy to be accepted into the proximity of whiteness and a white man wanting to take me on a date. Like, nobody cares how many dates you're going on with non-Black men. Unless they are dating you exclusively, making you their girlfriend, making you their fiance and marrying you, then what are you telling us for? Right. You still ain't in no better situation than you was when you was dating the Black men. Regardless of how long it's taking the Black men to take you on a date, you're still not accomplishing anything if these men ain't taking you serious either. A very important part that y'all are leaving out when y'all talk about how these Black men ain't taking you on dates is that the Black men that you're wanting to take you on dates don't actually like you, right? And taking you on a date sounds like an investment that they don't want to make. because it doesn't make sense to them to spend money on something that they don't want. They asking you what you doing. You know why? Because they want to be doing you, but they don't actually want to take you nowhere. But you ain't putting 2 and 2 together. It is very easy to do it.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Just let it brew. Just let it brew.
These non-black men might be offering up dates for you, but their intentions with you ain't no different than what the black men want you for. I seen a black woman get on here flexing about some non-black man taking her the first watch. That nasty breakfast food costs like $10 to $20. That's much cheaper than just straight out hiring an S worker. I'm gonna be as gentle as I can when I tell you black men and black women who date outside y'all race, or y'all ones who so fed up with black men and black women that you now gonna start dating outside y'all race just out of spite, right? Nobody cares. You're like that little kid who keep acting like you're gonna run away knowing that you're not gonna run away, right? You keep making this announcement, I'm leaving and I'm never coming back. I hate everybody in this house and I'm gonna run away and I'm never gonna come back. And you waiting on somebody to stop you and nobody stops you because nobody cares. You think that it's gonna make the black men and black women who don't want you start wanting you because you use going to another race as some type of aha moment? Nobody cares. We just want you to go and just leave everybody alone and stop telling us about it, right? If the experience is so great, enjoy the experience and stop telling us about it.
Facts.
Don't make a habit.
Facts were spoken. Facts were spoken. Facts were spoken. So, guys, next I want to pivot into the story about Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. I don't know how I missed this, but apparently she was engaged. Did you guys know this? She was engaged for 10 years, a 10-year engagement. Here's what I heard from the horse's mouth, her telling the story herself. And we're going to talk about this for a little bit. Of course, we know the DL rumors that have been going around is that she's DL. That has been a hot topic here on the Coffee Pod. And a lot of victims, we're talking about women victims, speaking out about how aggressive the DL women are and sharing their stories, their Me Too experiences. They said, me too. I went through that too. Is it only a matter of time? Allegedly. Let's make sure we say that. We don't know it for sure. Right? You got to throw that in there. Allegedly.
Even in marriage, I was engaged for 10 years, because I kept calling it off. And he was like, you keep getting these degrees. You keep saying, wait for the next degree, we'll get married. And by the time I went and got my doctorate, he's like, baby, you done got 4 degrees.
I ain't waiting no more.
Engaged for 10 years.
I kept putting it off because I knew that wasn't my person.
I was gonna say,
but
I
I
left
also,
your ass.
Yeah.
You said you knew he wasn't the person?
That's important.
And I end up leaving him. Unfortunate for him.
So you
Great
strung him
guy.
along for 10 years?
10 years? And she said he was a great guy.
Great guy. He was a great guy. He just wasn't my guy.
So I hope you guys heard that. And she knew the only place that would let her get away with this is the Breakfast Club, right? Where you have Charlemagne and DJ Envy, the forever regretful cheater. And actually both of them, right? Because they're not going to keep it real with her. Because these are the same men who didn't like how real someone like Kevin Samuels was with women, exactly like Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. She says that she was with a great man. And what do we know? We know that a lot of these chicks, especially the older chicks, right? The elderly, like Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, we know that they had men in their lives who could have been their husbands, who they could have settled down with, but instead did what? Instead, they decided to pursue their education and their degrees. Their husband are their careers. Their husband are their occupations. Instead of a last name, they switched that out for a doctor. They sacrificed the last name for that first credential title. And now you have that. And now you have the validation of single modern women who can relate to you very strongly, who are also struggling in the dating market. And what's crazy here is that someone like Dr. Cheyenne Bryant really believes that she did it the right way and that other women should probably pursue relationships most likely the way that she has. Not even a failed marriage in the tank. And that's not ideal, right? That's not ideal, but not even a failed marriage in the tank. Let's listen to more of this, which I can't actually play because it's copyrighted by the Breakfast Club. So I have the audio playing here. Let's check it out.
Right? And so
for 10 years, he thought he was the guy.
So you strung him along for 10 years. Why you ain't let him go be great with somebody else that would appreciate him and love him?
Y'all know about to jump on me.
She ain't want her his feelings.
Let me say this. No, I love that. No, I love that question. I love the question. So I'm not saying for 10 years I knew he wasn't the one. When we got about year number 5 or 6, and I seen that his work ethic and his ability to provide at the level that I wanted our family to be at, I knew that he wasn't my guy.
Oh, it gets better. So not only, because I'm glad she corrected herself there. There's some self-awareness there, because it sounds ridiculous to say for 10 years you just strung him along knowing, and it also makes you look kind of bad. So she's like, okay, let me fix that. I don't want to look too horrible out here. I didn't string him along. Halfway through, no, she didn't realize halfway through, bro. The truth was, this was a hindsight realization. What do I mean? This was towards the end of the relationship. A lot of women do this. They'll try to justify and say, why didn't it work out with that great guy? Because that's a tough one for a lot of chicks to come to terms with. When the guy's actually a good man, then it becomes, he wasn't the man for me. Not that I didn't rise up to the occasion. Now they look for different things. And here, of course, the reason why modern women can relate to her so much is she said it. She didn't think he could provide at the level that she needed him to. So he wasn't economically attractive enough. She has proven herself to be a statistic. Same thing you hear these chicks complaining about over and over again. This is her life and experience. Of course, that's why when she speaks, they believe she's speaking facts. Right. Just keep listening.
And when I say provide, I'm not talking about like he was making 6 figures and I was like, no, make millions. I'm saying his thing was, baby, I'm cool with me, you, a dog in a 1-bedroom apartment. And just no work ethic at all. So for the first 6 years, I thought, well, I'm out here getting it. I have a legal company. I own property. I'm only 22. I'm getting all these college degrees. How can he not be inspired by me? See, that's that age-appropriate young woman. He got potential. Let me stay. That's why people should take their time. But when I seen you number 7 and 8, this guy was the same guy who was, I hate talking because he's such a good guy. I always protect him when I talk about him. But where he was lazy and he had no work ethic, I had to pivot.
Well, he didn't have the work ethic that you wanted because he worked, right? But he just didn't.
He was comfortable.
He was comfortable.
Your ideas were different.
At some point, he just decided to not work at all.
Oh, he rapped at all. Okay.
No, he wasn't a rapper.
Soft life. He was living that soft life while Dr. Cheyenne Bryant was taking care of him. And when I hear something like that, I think to myself, why weren't you listening to the men in your life at that time, right? No one ever talks about the people who were probably telling her, if this guy is, let's assume he was lazy because we can't ask him for his side of the story. Why weren't you listening? And then there's the whole conversation of if women are equal to men and can do everything men can do, and you want to throw away those traditional expectations, not sure if that's exactly what she values, then why can't you take care of that man? Again, I'm going off of what a lot of modern women claim to believe in here.
Not just that he had a mixtape.
He started off in pharmaceutical sales, a very educated young man, went to BYU, D1 college, did his thing, very much like the boy next door, mixed kid. And we were, and so it was all really good. Came from a really amazing family. Parents still married. I think they own like 45 years.
You just wanted more.
I wanted more. And if he would have said, we can have more and grow, I would have rolled with him. But when he said, I don't want any more and I'm cool with this, it goes to your question. Then I had to choose what I was choosing. I was choosing a man. I wasn't choosing marriage. I didn't grow up the little girl that wanted marriage in this white picket fence. I wanted, just to be honest, I wanted money and power to change a trajectory of a community. I wanted a platform to be able to shift people so they have a better life, so they can take their pain like I did and find some pieces out of it and make peace from their broken pieces. So I never grew up thinking and I also had a father. I had a daddy who doted on me. I'm a product of a street dude. And if anyone knows the street do the way they love their daughters when they're involved, you're God. You're goddess to them. You're princess.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have man problems like that. And so wasn't looking for a man outside to come validate me. So when I get in relationships still to this day, I'm still choosing the man.
Did he acquire more in the future?
No, he's still in the same place. So I made the right decision.
What was the conversation, that last conversation y'all had when you decided to leave him?
She says he's still in the same place and she made the right decision. Now, okay, you made the right decision. Let's enter that hypothetical scenario of making the right decision. Cool. But where is the man now? Because from what I see when I've heard snippets of her speaking, other than, the allegations of her being DL, she says that she wants a family and kids. She has to be like in her 40s. I know I checked this last time. Miss Coffee, how old is Dr. Cheyenne Bryant? Let's see here.
Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, born on September 6th, 1982, is currently 42 years old.
Is reality mean? Because people hear this and they're like, oh, but why? She can still do it. Sure. It's not about whether something is impossible. It's about the probability here. She's heading towards 50. Hey, I hope the best for her and that she finds the man that's meant for her, so on and so forth. But from what I see and hear and how she's saying other women should wait, like I am at 42 years old, based on how she's moving, this is the road and path to utter failure. And when people hear that, they think, oh, so she doesn't matter and her life's a failure. No, separate value to relationships, the dating market, from value you bring to life. She's successful in her own right, in her career, what she brings to society. People value who she is, right? Her occupation, etc. But when it comes to relationships, this is not looking like a success story or a path that should be replicated by other younger women or or the next younger generation. I would not advise my daughters to move like this, to wait until they're 42 to finally start a family. Let's see. Let's actually hear what she was talking about in this video.
And he said, what? My prayer was, God, okay, if you're going to have me wait, no problem, but can we negotiate? And he said, what? Because he knows how I am. He's like, what, woman? I said, can you just fill me up, top me off, as though I already have the husband, as though I already have the kids, so that the despair and in the turmoil doesn't cause a conflict where I can't show up in your will. I want to show up full for you. And he said, bet, you got a deal. And I'm not playing. I have been filled up and topped off as though the husband and the kids, I've been so full, so full. And this has been for the past maybe 3 or 4 years. I've just been full. And so I don't feel the lack of there not being a presence of my husband and my kids. I'm on full. So by the time the husband does get here, I'm choosing again from my fullness. I'm not choosing from my deficit.
I think God can definitely make that possible for a man or woman, to help him deal with that, because she has a desire to be married, and help him deal with that. I don't know, man. There are a lot of contradictions here when it comes to what we see a lot of these female dating gurus tell women, and especially when they're quoting scripture, what the scripture actually calls women to do. Of course, guys, I'm curious to know, what do you think of that particular situation? Moving on here, let's see what we have. So I saw this post recently about Layla Anthony, which reads, Layla Anthony believes that marriage is no longer a goal, stating that most of the married people she knows are miserable.
Yeah, they all say marriage isn't a goal when they can't get the man that they want, or in her case, leave a man thinking that she was going to get something better and she's still on the market. And another thing about these women who didn't maintain their own marriages or can't seem to get married in the first place, they love to talk about how people are unhappily married or what have you. Well, divorce is the new happy. So if these people are allegedly unhappily married, why aren't they getting divorced? Another thing is, why is it the main women talking about how they don't want marriage, or they divorced the husband for to find themselves, or thinking that the grass was greener on the other side? Why is it that they want to walk down the aisle again? Sounds like sour grapes to me.
All right. So I think she's got some.
You want to walk down.
I think she's got some points there. 86% of people, and I know there's like especially dudes out here who, I tell you guys all the time, there's two sides ever since I've been creating this content. There's men who think that I should be telling men to get married because it's the right thing to do. And then there are men who are upset that I don't tell men not to get married. Right. And I think there are plenty of men out here who are definitely vocal about men not getting married. Where I place the ball is I say the ball is in your court. The ball is in your court. You get to decide what you should do as a man. And depending on what you believe is best, you get to live with those consequences and those choices. With that being said, 86% of people who divorce get remarried. So it's not surprising that people want a relationship after they divorce. You see it with the Tia Mowrys. You see it with a lot of these chicks who get divorced. What do? They immediately start dating. Almost immediately. The last thing I remember actually reporting on someone like Layla Anthony was that she was dating younger guys, which is typical for women as they age and get a few more years on them, is that younger guys start shooting their shot more. And she was talking about how crazy it is that all these younger dudes are approaching her with confidence. Now, this does look like this came from some site that may not be credible by the text and this whole kind of photo. But I don't find this hard to believe that this is her current mindset of marriage no longer being a goal. I don't think just because something didn't work out for you that you should then start to shit on that thing or talk down on that thing. There are a lot of people who do that. And it could be anything. A lot of people say something's a scam because maybe it didn't work out for them, or relationships are all horrible, or there's no good women because they went through some heartbreak. We've all had heartbreaks. But they'll literally believe there's no such thing as a good woman. If you ask that same man, is there such thing as a good man? Of course there is. They'll reply. There's a lack of understanding with that whole approach to relationships and dating. And for those of you who don't know, in 2021, Layla Anthony filed for divorce from Carmelo Anthony, citing irreconcilable differences. Now, of course, after that, a lot of these chicks think that they're going to go into the dating market and actually find someone who's better. But time and time again, what do we see is it ends in tears. And I mean like clockwork. It usually ends in tears. On the topic of people not sharing, because I get the comments a lot of, oh, we need more content about marriage advice for people who are in marriage and to see all that. That's why I created Brew Brothers, and I'm going to be posting a lot more this coming year in Brew Brothers, because you do get people who, when you like the Layla Anthonys, right after they've divorced their man and left their relationship, when you share anything good about your current marriage or whatever, they can't imagine that good things exist for people who are married or in relationships. No, I do not think, especially as somebody who's caffeinated, that myself or anybody who may be currently married is special, isn't susceptible to their marriage failing like everyone else. But if you get online and you share that you're actually in a healthy marriage, people who are miserable will not like that. Here's another woman here talking about exactly that.
Do you want to know know why it's mostly single women that give advice on this app? I heard a girl asking, like, why isn't it that the married women are the ones giving dating advice? Why is it single women? Well, every time a married woman shares a good positive story about her husband or her married life, people jump in the comments and wish the worst on her. They say that she's bragging and that you should never brag on your man. And oh my God, one day he's going to embarrass you. We're not bragging. We're actually living our happily married lives. And sometimes when we share, if we share anything personal about our situation, people take it the wrong way. So I give general dating advice here on my channel, but I would love to give more personal, more detailed advice, but I can't really do that unless I talk about my personal situation. And every time I do, on the rare occasion, people are like just wishing and waiting for the other shoe to drop in my life. So therefore I kind of scale back and I talk very generally.
And again, this is why I think like communities are important. And I mean like private communities, especially if you can put a paywall behind it, because people can just get pissed. No one wants to get behind a paywall and talk shit. They're not going to pay for it, right? If you're a person in a healthy marriage, man or woman, and you have a platform, consider creating a school community, you know, and separate yourself from the chaos, that the very real chaos. And it's can get really depressing when you actually have something good to say. Share it with people who would appreciate that within that private community.
But I am going to share some personal stories about me and my life and how I kind of landed in this place. Why? Not because I want to brag, but because I do believe that success can be replicated, that we can learn from each other. Like, I can't be the only one who found love later in life, you know, got married at 38, had my son at 39, became a homeowner at 40. I am the
Shout out to you. Not the standard, right? And I hope she's not using herself as this is the way to go. It does happen. Shout out to her.
President of the Late Bloomers Club. And I want to give hope to not just the late bloomers, even women in their 20s too. Maybe I can save the women in her 20s some time so that way she doesn't have to make all of the same mistakes I did. I am not a dating expert. I'm just someone who got it wrong time and time and time again. And when I finally got it right, things went smoothly for me. So maybe I can spare you guys from making a lot of the stupid mistakes that I did. Anyway, stay tuned to my channel. Those videos will be dropping soon. And don't discredit the advice that single women on this app give, because you need to learn some things from a woman who's still in the dating game. They have value too. I'll see you in my next video.
I agree with that. I think both single and married people do give decent advice, usually when they are caffeinated. Yes, yes, yes. Let's see what else we have here. See what else we have.
I'm telling this to both young men and young women. When you're around anyone who says happy wife, happy life, get the fuck away from them. Because what they're doing is they're passing on a curse to you. You understand? Let me first ask you just a side note to it.
Okay.
When you guys see Steve Harvey hanging out with all these African dignitaries and over there with the Crown Prince of Dubai, do he look happy? I'm just asking you the question. Do he look happy? Go back and look at all these videos and see if Steve Harvey looked happy like he was before.
No. And just to make sure, I'm actually going to check this out. Steve Harvey with African, I'm going to look it up real quick so I could give you guys a really fast answer. Let me see. Steve Harvey, Dubai. He looks tired.
Do he even look happy when he entertaining? No. Steve Harvey got exactly what he wanted. I saw a pastor in Houston that did the same thing Steve Harvey did. I will never forget the enlightenment and communication and hearing Pastor I.V. Hilliard talk about, he told his wife when he came home, from now on, he gonna make money. In other words, this is what he was saying. I was making money. I was trying to make money honestly before, but now I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do to make money. And he did it. If you look at his story from that point and look what happened, he started giving deceptive information. Anything that would allow him to cultivate a relationship with money, he did it. He same thing, excuse me, allergies, that Steve Harvey did. He did anything he could do to make money. You have to understand, and I know this offends some people, but a man is not meant to worship a woman. A man is meant to worship God. When a man worships God, his life, his mind, and his heart is clear.
Let's just let that sink in for a little bit. A man is not meant to worship a woman. A man is not meant to worship a woman. The fact that he has to give a disclaimer so that women aren't offended by that statement. Think about that. That today's chicks, when you say to them, we're not made to worship you, their blood boils. Their blood boils. What do you mean? They think they're literal deities that deserve to be worshiped. And I've said this so many times, man. It's not the first time he's graced the channel here. I'll have his information in the description.
Ladies, if you want to experience a love from a man that you've never experienced before, find you a man that worships God and not you. That perception of happy wife, happy life means everybody in the house could be miserable if the woman is. A woman is what? At her nature, emotional. So even though a woman logically tries to manipulate her emotions, sometimes her emotions gets the best of her. If you allow a woman to run your household, that means the lives that live in your house, then your house is not going to survive it and eventually it's going to fracture. Because think about this. The way that's set up, a woman has no responsibility but to herself. The way that it's set up. And ladies, I know y'all not built like that. See, you're being coaxed into a thought process just like people were coaxed into a religious thought process that allows you, okay, in what world can anybody do whatever they want to do and not be God? I need you to understand that. This was a Western philosophy meant to contain y'all. So when you hear Steve Harvey say, the woman ain't got to do nothing, she goes, do he look happy with that woman? When is the last time you've even seen Marjorie? You don't even know if they're together or not. You got to recognize this. And from a man's perspective, you have no idea the diminishing attributes to a man that worships a woman. He essentially is a woman, okay? He essentially has no self-esteem. He doesn't believe in himself. He's always up and down. You ever notice a woman could be absolutely beautiful and struggle if she's beautiful or not? Again, how can you not know you're beautiful? Look in the mirror. Look at what everybody screams. I'm going to tell you something. A man could be ugly as hell and still believe in himself because his movement is solely based on accomplishment amongst other men, okay? So when you allow yourself to live under the understanding of happy wife, happy life, your relationship will never work.
Amen. Amen. Let the church say amen. Now, listen, I know what video he's referencing to. Let me see here. If I'm correct, I believe he was referencing this moment right here, right? Hold on. In time. Everyone, I give you Steve Harvey. Let's get it.
That's what's wrong with this generation today.
What's wrong?
These young boys today, what do she bring to the table? The hell you mean, man? What do you bring to the table? You got a woman that can come to the table that can make another you. What else she need to slide up to the table with? What about your job? What happened to men who were supposed to be responsible? Do you know that it's our job to take care of a woman and some children, to have a family? That's our damn job.
There you guys go. That's a snippet, right? And so when you hear Steve Harvey over there talk about she can make another you, it ends there, right? That just because a woman can make another you, it then means that she's a lot more valuable than you will ever be because she can accomplish something that every other chick in this world can accomplish. Never mind how she's going to raise that kid up. Never mind who she is and her beliefs and thought process. No, just because of what's between her legs. That is essentially worship. Like there's nothing that person, they just who they are is enough. The only person who just is God. Now, does this mean that you treat your woman bad? Of course not. Does this mean that you go around and be abusive? Of course not. A person who understands this and a woman who understands this, who come together and embrace the attributes that they have strengths in and embrace shared values, create a beautiful thing. Of course, I'm curious to know what you guys think. Let's see what else we have here. A few more topics. Remember, guys, you can always send me topics to my IG, Instagram, Shisha Z. All right, let's see what Let's see what this chick's talking about right here. Hold on. We've got a dating story here. This woman's sharing about her struggles with dating.
I was getting to know this man, and he was extremely handsome. So I thought that I was on a come up, obviously. So, you know, we're conversing, we're getting to know each other on the phone, and then one day he just goes silent. And then I stopped hearing from him for maybe a couple weeks. So I called him, and he told me that he wanted me to chase him. So I said, okay. So I went and I got him a Christmas present. You know what I got him? I got him a wig. Ain't she cute? I got him some lashes. I got him some nails. And I got him some lip gloss. I think he gonna like it.
First of all, man, we know those are your wigs. And lip gloss, nails, extendo, eyelashes, and everything else you just showed. Now, if you've dealt with enough chicks, you get really good at deciphering what they actually mean here. You get really good at, like, chicks will say things, but you can tell because they all kind of think the same way nowadays. You can tell exactly what they mean and the truth just based on how they tell a story. So she started off with saying, I was talking to this guy. She found him really attractive. She said he was really handsome. So this is somebody who she was attracted to. So something tells me that she wanted things to work out. So what did she start to do? She started to incorporate all this advice she heard online, most likely TikTok, from other people who talk about what? Let him pursue you at all times. The reason she called him wasn't because they just abruptly stopped talking and she didn't reach out to him. No, she called him because that was the first time she probably reached out to him first. Her saying he wanted me to, guys, I bet you, is there a small percentage and chance that I may be wrong about this? Sure, but I'm probably not. Trust me, I'm the coffee man. Her saying he wanted me to chase him lets me know that when she called him, she said, hey, where have you been? I haven't heard from you. And his response was most likely, well, I've been busy. Why didn't you reach out? She thought to herself, oh, so I'm the pursuer? And then it turned into this thing of, well, sometimes you can reach out to me if you want to talk. And she then thought to herself, so you want me to chase you? And then they had a disagreement. On top of this, documenting your dating life on your TikTok is probably like one of the worst things you could probably do right now, because it's a nightmare to think that you can end up being some type of a story time of a woman talking shit while she's putting makeup on her face. No man wants that. No man wants that at all. Granted, I believe that there is that initial pursuit that a lot of men, I believe, don't have a problem initiating. But after some time, some men want you to reach out.
I say this with full love for men, but the reality is that men are draining by default. That the default assumption that you need to make for a man in your life is that he is not the source. In fact, he is draining. He is draining by default. He is going to drain your time, your energy, your compassion, and your love. He is going to drain your beauty and your youth and all the resources that you have. Men.
Are we in the Twilight Zone? Men are draining your resources? Oh man. Every day, man. Every day it never stops. Men are draining your resources. Men are draining your resources.
Men are draining by default. Even the best men I know are tremendous amounts of labor and tremendous amounts of risk.
Wow.
That just having a man in your life is going to bring you more labor. It's going to be your domestic labor, your emotional labor, your spiritual labor, because as women, we are the source, which means that we are giving by default. Women bring value to men by default, by all that we pour into them naturally, that we give to their well-being, to the beauty, to the joy, to their every single aspect of their experience in life, a woman by default, just your average run-of-the-mill woman, not even trying that hard, maybe not even that invested. By default, the default setting of woman is to bring value. Just you hugging a man, just you paying attention and listening to a man, just you caring for a man, let alone all the things that I'm sure you probably are so thoughtful and so considerate and so generous and so giving and spend so much time coaching him and counseling him and loving him and lifting him up. All these things by default without even trying, we do.
You know what's so funny about listening to this is everything that she's saying and complaining about are all things that men do not ask for. And I'm going to explain this more in detail with another video to follow this one up, because she's like, we coach them, we teach them. Like, men just want to be, in most cases, men want to be left alone. Never mind how delusional this statement is of men are depleting and women bring value to men. Do I think that women do bring value to the men who value them? Yes. But the way this is framed and structured is just insane.
Not to mention, you're going to be making his health better, his house better. You're going to be introducing him to your friends. You're going to be giving him fun, amazing things to be doing on the holidays. You might be giving him children so he's not alone in his old age.
Oh my goodness. I'm so glad she brought all this stuff up. Wait, it's going to make sense in a little bit.
You're going to be amplifying his status in the eyes of his coworkers, his colleagues, other women. He is touch-starved. He is lonely. No one is paying attention to him except you. Because you are doing these things, he has that in his life, and that is so valuable, and men are draining by default. They are going to take your time, your energy, your love. And the way that they counterbalance this is if a man starts pouring back into you by appreciating you as the source.
What?
That is how this is balanced, is a man who recognizes that you are the source and pours into you, sees you, loves you, uplifts you, appreciates you. And that is the only way that this value exchange is made right and true and honest, is by him recognizing you as the source, appreciating you for everything that you're doing, and honoring that sacred exchange. And
this chick's insane. Bottom line, insanity has entered the chat. Wow. Women are the source. Guys, you allow women to describe themselves, and they'll literally describe God in their eyes, right? How they view themselves. We are the source of all things. We're the creators of all life. We're the beginning. We're the end. She's mentioning all these things of all they help you take care of your health. They take you to all these different activities. They pretty much plan your life, when the truth is, you go to any man, even a man who has a woman he really cares about, in most cases, he doesn't beg and want all those things. These are all things that you have forced on him, right? Check out this video. I thought was hilarious.
Fun fact about guys, we don't want to do anything. And women want to do things. We're going to go apple picking. We're going to go to brunch. We don't want to do any of that. We'll do it to be nice, but just know that none of us want to do it. I used to go out with this girl, and I would fly in from a gig. Let's say my flight landed at 4. She'd be like, when do you fly in? And I go, I fly in at 7. She'd be like, oh, all right, I'll come over at 7 and we'll hang out. But I needed those 3 hours to just fart, shit, decompress, unpack, watch a fucking TV show. So I would lie to her just
Hear the dude in the background there just like backing him up. Like, whoo, I get it.
to get myself a little charge up time. I would open the door and be like, what are we doing today? It's Sunday. I killed myself. So no guy wants to do anything. We'll do it, but we don't want to.
It's so true. It's
But we don't
so
want
true.
Fun fact.
Let's check out some of these comments. His top comment says, every time I leave the house, it costs $150. Man, that's a fact. Not once did she mention the chick before this. Did she mention anything of monetary value that you hear women talk about every single day? Here's somebody else who says, it's because doing stuff costs money and we usually paying. Here's somebody else who says they want to do stuff because it's free to them. Right, right. Let's go apple picking. Let's go do this. God forbid you say, let's go walk at the park. Another person here says they don't know how to be bored. The accuracy of this is astounding. So this is facts. Facts. You go to most events, even couples events, man. You look around, you know most guys were kind of forced to be there. You know, if they could have gotten, if they had it their way, it would skip a lot of those events. And a lot of chicks interpret that as you don't want to spend time with your woman. It's not that. Men just don't need that much socializing. They don't need that many things on their plate. They already have a lot on their plate, right? If you had the burden of responsibility of taking care of your family or of providing, so on and so forth, then you would also understand what it's like to be in that type of a situation. What do you guys think? Of course, always curious. I thought this one was really interesting too, on the topic of men. Let's check it out.
Men can hang around like this for hours and not even ask each other's names. I constantly see posts where women are asking about this on social media, saying, how can men hang out for so long and walk away not knowing what these guys do for a living or whether or not they have kids or if they're married? The answer to me is so obvious that I actually wonder what it's like for a big group of women. Because among men, a conversation about something inconsequential like sports is fun. A conversation about your life and where you are in life is work. It is stressful in the exact same way that a job interview is stressful. You are being put on the spot. You have to justify how you're living your life.
Right.
There was a viral post a while ago talking about how when women get together to talk, they tend to face each other, whereas men prefer some kind of a parallel activity where they are both focusing on some third thing.
Right.
And while I cannot vouch for the science behind that post at all, the idea made perfect sense to me because this position between two men is often felt as confrontation, a challenge.
Right.
And please understand that the way men do this can be extremely subtle. Like you can see a bunch of guys standing around joking, but you can see them competing for who gets the best line. When they're telling anecdotes about some time when they badly injured themselves in the past, you'll see them competing with each other for the best injury. It won't sound like confrontation. It will just sound like comparison, but it is a competition. So the nicest thing a guy can do when meeting another guy is to keep the conversation trivial, to reassure him you're not going to have to justify your life and your career and your family situation to me. Like, you understand, this is literally why sports exists as a form of entertainment versus just something that people get together and do in the park. It gives guys something to talk about that is objectively of no consequence. It is of no threat. And before you come in and say, you are generalizing, I know lots of guys who are not like this and lots of women who are. Everybody already understands that. That's how generalization works.
Right. I really like that sports example that he gave right there, where he talks about how sports, because if you really think about that, it makes a lot of sense. Men are naturally competitive, and sports allows them to talk about something they could be competitive in without too much emotional investment. Granted, there are people who get very emotional with sports like soccer, people like off themselves and shit like that. But in most cases, it's a fun, lighthearted activity where you can compete, but not be directly affected unless if you have a serious gambling problem. Sports betting. But in most cases, you're just enjoying the sport. I like the way he really presented this, and I agree. Let's check out some comments here. Top comment here says, if someone tells me their name, I instantly forget it. Anyway, this is true. There are a couple of dudes, man, who I know, and I run into them. You go around, you get like food from a certain place, and you may exchange words, and sometimes you have actual deep conversations. I've actually had this happen with my wife, who've been like, oh yeah, what's his name? And I'm like, you know what? I didn't ask him his name. I've had this happen. I'm sure you could probably relate too if you're a man. Somebody else who says, for women, it's about comparing status, and with men, it's about forgetting about status. That's deep. Yeah. The last thing you want to bring up when you're talking to a guy is like, so how's your job going, or how are finances, and so on and so forth. But chicks bring that up really very, very easily. Somebody else responded back and says, no, it's about bonding with the person. And that means you need to know a lot about each other so you have common things to share and talk about and get close. Men do surface level friendship. 43 likes of triggered women responded back to that. He responded back and says, knowing a lot about someone takes many interactions. This specific context is about not knowing them and still having a good time. Women compare lifestyles, men compare cars and athletes. I was just texting my boy who I haven't talked to in a while. And when I went to go text him, I noticed when I looked at the phone, I saw that he asked me a question 3 months ago and I missed it and forgot to respond. And so I texted him anyway. I just said, first I answered the question and then I just sent him the text. And he just went on the conversation like nothing happened. There was no this like, what's your name? Text me. And I don't know if I'm going to respond because I need people who are going to be, no, none of that. None of that shit that these chicks deal with, bro. And it's good to be a man. Here's somebody else who says, because we are not detectives. Another person who says, I had 3-hour conversation with a friend I hadn't seen in 10 years. It was great. My wife asked me how he was since his divorce. I said, Jeff got divorced. She responds back. Somebody else responded back and says, OMG, what a perfect example. That's facts. Here's another comment that says, I got to hang with a dude a few times before names are important. Somebody else who says, I talk about work enough when I'm at work. Don't ask me about it. Yep. Here's another person who says, men, we know how to be friends. Family Guy skit. Here's another person who says, we are not trying to impress. We are just being. Another comment here says, we're not going to bring up stress to our bros unless it's really bothering us. Yeah. Because men know that when somebody brings up a problem, our natural reaction is to try and find a solution. Women will bring up problems just to bring up problems. Like it's actually proven that that's how they actually de-stress, is that they start rattling off things that are wrong in their lives and they don't want solutions, which might explain the rise of TikTok and the videos we see on a consistent basis. Oh man, crazy. All right, what else do we have here? This one was a crazy story. Let's check it out.
You decided to do porn.
I decided to do mainstream videos, yes. My name is Shannon Laughlin. I was a deputy with Arapahoe County for 21 years.
The 44-year-old Laughlin ran her department's driving academy. But even with a steady paycheck, she ran into financial ruin. And this wife and mother felt she had no place to turn.
So we have a deputy, right? She's just woman's a police officer, and she decided to turn to adult content because she had nowhere else to turn. She had no choice. That's how she frames it. When they say, so you decided to do PORN, she says, I decided to do mainstream content. No, you decided to do PORN, ma'am. Stand on business.
I was desperate. I was drowning. I found a very legal, lucrative means for providing that support for my family that I needed at that time to save my home for them.
I know some of you dudes are looking her up right now, trying to reverse image search this chick. Left the coffee pod, abandoned me already. Get a hold of yourself. Get a hold of yourself, man. Snap out of it.
It was quick cash and enough to catch up on her mortgage and hold off the bill collectors. Her family home was ruined by a storm last year, she says. Nearly $500,000 in damage that insurance would not cover.
But in recent weeks, someone tipped off the sheriff's office to what Laughlin was doing. An internal affairs investigation was started. She was suspended. But in the early stages of the investigation this week, she resigned.
She says she knew she broke department rules by not asking permission to work a second job.
The mainstream and adult industry is not something that the sheriff's office would approve of, and I understand that. I'm not going to waste the resources of the sheriff's office to do an investigation for something that, yes, I participated.
They're like, no, we have to investigate this. We need to seize all your assets. They couldn't wait to go raid this chick's house.
In that, and yes, I did that. I'm here to
waste resources. Ma'am, you did not want them to find the homemade videos.
Simply put the reasons out there on why I made the choices that I made and took the actions that I did.
Poor you. Poor you. Poor you. I'm sure these comments aren't going to disappoint. Top comment. Fellas, Lady Lorraine, you're welcome. She's got her handle right here. God will bless you, my son. Yo, you guys are wild in the comments over here. So somebody else here says, we listen and we don't judge. Another person here says, how many of you stopped midway through and searched her? Another person here says, if it's legal means of a paycheck and doesn't interfere with her job hours, I don't see a problem for earning income. Their option of integrity is judgmental. Whoever tipped them off should also be. You know, there's no one who champions 304 activities, regardless of anyone's occupation, than a simp. Like, I remember when I was addressing the Hawk Tour girl a while back before the allegations came up, and I pretty much said, like, yo, this chick is just desperate for attention. Like, she's just desperate for attention. A lot of the dudes who were simping hard on the Hawk Tour girl were so offended. Oh, let her be. Blah, 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 blah. Man, they love to see a chick create an OnlyFans so they could go pay that subscription. They love to see it. And with her, as soon as she got exposed for being money hungry and a criminal, then everyone started to come around. You guys probably remember when I made that video. Let me see here. Yeah, but this is crazy. Crazy story. I'm trying to see if maybe, all right, what else do we have here? What else do we have? Let me see. I wonder whatever happened to her. I'm talking about the chick we just saw here. Wow. I just searched Officer OnlyFans, and apparently there are a lot of people on here kind of doing the same thing. Seems like something that's really prevalent.
A police officer is
Damn, this one has to do with a dude.
A police officer is fired and arrested. Former Metro Nashville police officer, 33-year-old Sean Herman, was arrested on charges of felony misconduct. Why? For allegedly appearing in a staged OnlyFans video.
What?
Yep, let me get into this one.
Don't tell me this is like one of those officer cop scenes, please.
So according to police, the Metro Nashville Police Department chief first fired Herman on May 9th after it was discovered he appeared in a recorded OnlyFans skit. I believe it was found on Reddit. And in the skit, he allegedly gropes the exposed breast of a female driver. Now, police say the video, titled "Can't Believe He Didn't Arrest Me," and apparently made by someone named Jordan, made its way online, and it was shot on the evening of April 26th in a warehouse parking lot that, by the way, Herman was on duty at the time, believed to be in his patrol uniform,
This is nuts.
supposed to be patrolling the Madison precinct, which makes it so problematic, and also what is mounting to these criminal charges. Now, in the video, which we can't show to you for legal reasons, we can describe it to you nonetheless. In the video, you see a female driver speaking to a man in her car, and he says, "Going too fast, no one listens to me." She replies, "I'm not going to get a ticket." And then she says she's going to show the officer her. Okay. Next, a man dressed in police uniform steps to the side of the car, and he identifies himself as Officer Johnson. Now, you don't see his face. You only see from the mid-torso down or so. And he says, "You know why I pulled you over?" The female driver replies, "No." The officer states that she was going 65 in a 45. And when he asks for her license and registration, the female driver says she doesn't have it in this car, but says, "What if I show you these?" And then in most versions of this video that has gone online, it's blocked out, but it appears that she lifts down her shirt to show this officer her. Now, the officer replies to the effect that, you can just see on the internet anytime. Then she says, "Well, what if," and then the rest is bleeped out. But then you can see the officer move closer to the car. Now, in most versions of the video, it cuts off, but we have been able to see screenshots online, and based upon the allegations, the officer, allegedly Herman, allegedly touches her.
Damn. You see, if you're this thirsty, bro, that you're willing to risk your whole career and all your money, you're willing to risk your money, mess up the bag over some 304 or an opportunity to participate in something like this, and you probably deserve it. This is insane. I cannot believe what I'm hearing. You guys can go watch the rest of that. That's crazy. Let's see what else we have here. What else do we have? Oh, okay. Here we go. Let's check this out.
I'm looking at this.
What is it?
It's wire. It's a spool of wire. And I'm almost out of it. Can you see the spool of wire?
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost out of it.
Okay.
And I've had this spool of wire for like 40 years. I bought it like this it's not a long time ago, but it's like 40 years of my life is in the wire that's gone. Does that make sense? This is what's left. Does that make
I'm
sense?
sorry to hear that, and it's sad for you, but you're wearing your Jets hat, and I'm a little concerned right now that you're wearing your Jets hat. I thought that's why you were crying.
Okay, I'm done.
Damn, that hurt my feelings, and it didn't even happen to me. I know we say men are simple, but that doesn't mean that they aren't capable of deeply emotional moments. Bro just witnessed the sands of time of his own life fall before him by way of a spool of wire, and you just kind of like disregarded that as inconsequential. It doesn't matter. You're just like, yeah, get back to work. When like we all know how excited he was to share that with her, right? The whole time he was talking, it felt like she was just waiting for him to finish so she could make her stupid Jets hat joke. And what's also not lost on me is she sees her husband out there getting emotional on the back deck, and what does she do? Hits record and shoves her phone in his face. It almost seemed like she was even a little disappointed that he didn't do anything humiliating, because that's not the content she wanted. And if that's not the way she intended it, it's definitely the way that we're all interpreting it. And it made us all really sad. Go apologize to that man.
So this is actually like surprisingly a really viral video, right? As you can tell, he's there deep in thought and coming to terms with how 40 years of his life is gone, and he's using the wire as a figure of speech, right? In him expressing that. So what happens next? Well, a lot of people chimed in and didn't like how she responded. Check out some of these comments. The top comment says, that's likely the last time he shares anything with her. Here's somebody else who says, the poor man. That's a chick. Somebody else here added, yeah, that crushed my heart too. And so why is this getting this type of reaction? Because you often hear people say things like men need to open up more, or men don't open up enough. And you hear men say, well, when men do open up, they actually face a lot of criticism for opening up, and they are actually shunned. The reality isn't what people hear women say that they want when you hear them complain about men not opening up. The reality is, from men's perspective, that they aren't really given the type of space, empathy, so on and so forth. And they think, no, if you open up more, we will hear you. They were very disappointed with that wife, and they thought, hey, you should apologize. She never apologized. As far as I know, she never apologized. Right? This is going to shock you. He apologized. Maybe it won't shock you. Right? It's kind of like dealing with women. Somehow you end up apologizing. What did he do that's wrong? I'm sure he's going to explain it here, because I think I have a video of him apologizing for whatever reason. Another man here says that's why the answer is usually nothing. Here's another person who says the spool of wire is actually insane symbolism, scripted levels of symbolism. Somebody else here says that spool of wire is 2 times my age. That's pretty crazy. Here's somebody else who says, when he was explaining that, I was tearing up, and then her reaction made me so angry. So people were looking at this and saying, wow, this is a profound moment. And as you age in life, you have a lot of those moments, those introspective moments where you're looking at your life and you're looking back and trying to see, what's life really all about? And here comes this wife who shuts the whole thing down, and he actually ended up responding back to the whole the whole reaction of most people, and this is what he had to say. Check it out.
Thank everybody enough for all the comments that you have sent to us about this video that we posted the other day. There were some people that said, some people that said it was a setup or planned. No, dude. I had this feeling about this as I was using this wire a couple weeks ago, and I kept thinking about it, and I decided to just put it on and talk about my life feels like it's dwindling. I blindsided my wife. I asked her to come out and film this because I had this feeling that I just wanted to put this on something, and I did.
So this is even sadder than I thought, because I don't think I watched this. I saw the title. He asked her to film it because he felt like he had a moment he wanted to share online. He does the content thing once in a while, and he says, no, it was really, I felt really emotional about this, right?
She had no idea, and she made a joke about my Jets hat, and many people took that as really poor taste. She's the most loving, amazing person I've ever had. Our communication is incredible. What we do have to talk about at the end of the day is men, women, everybody being listened to, because that struck a nerve in a lot of people.
Okay. So let's read some comments here. Top comment says, wait, why is he posting the apology video? And somebody else responded back and says, control damage or damage control wife made sure he did it. And so he's coming online to say my wife's a wonderful human being, instead of her pretty much getting on here and saying, you know what, I should have been more attentive, right? Somebody else here says, shame on you, Cindy. You should be posting an apology to Dan. Why did you make Dan do this video? Yeah. See, these are the fearful marriages that men do not want to be in, right? A marriage where you're going to be getting online doing what your wife tells you to do, while she's saying, I'm not apologizing to everybody else. Here's somebody else that says, blink twice if you need help. Another person here says, you didn't blindside your wife. Your wife missed an opportunity to show up for you. So he's blaming himself here. Like, I blindsided her. She should have known. I should have told her that I was emotional. Now flip the roles, man. Flip the roles. If this was the woman who is in an emotional moment, expressing herself and realizing how she's losing her youth and her life is slowly slipping away like it does for all of us. Would she have said, I should have warned him? Nah. Here's somebody else who says, no, let's keep reading this comment. Which you deserve as a basic need as a human. It's clear you still feel very strongly about the wire matching the meaning of the time left in your life. You wanted to share a deep moment and realization, and she didn't honor you. So let us strangers reach you and say that your realization was beautiful and your perspective deserves to be heard and to land in the place that is met with love and tenderness and understanding. You said she had no idea, and we all see that as a huge missed opportunity for her to honor and respect you, said with love. So people are over here responding back with more understanding than the wife here in this situation. She actually, I think, is this a response video? Okay, let's see here. I think she made a video. Let's check it out.
Here today to talk about Wiregate. I know that we've had a lot of comments about our video. It's been very interesting to say the least. None of which I took personally, but what Dan and I did see through all of the comments and all of the responses is that relationships struggle with transparent conversation. Relationships struggle with the honest responses. We have a very unique relationship and we play a lot. And just for the record, Dan is fine. And he's going to be home in just a minute. So I bought him an early Christmas gift, and I think you all will be very interested in what it is. Hey, everyone, I'm here.
Boo. What do you guys think? Comment down below. What is your response? Top comment here says, man shared a vulnerable moment and you turned it into a joke for engagement. Very unique. Somebody else here, it's very unique. Somebody else here says, Dan is fine. He will be fine. Anytime you ask him how he's doing now, from now on, he'll be fine. Here's somebody else who says, take it personally. Apologize and change. Another one here says, let me guess. She got him a spool of wire. It's not about the wire, you tone deaf. Insert your choice of words. Yo, they're lighting her ass up here in the comment section. Somebody else who says he's getting another 40 year of wire. She thinks it's a surprise. Let's see here. Yeah. Men and being emotionally vulnerable. You know, the best thing you can have, and I've said this before, is a woman who's actually going to respond correctly in that situation. That's best. The next best thing is you have a support system outside of that. I do want to caution that if you are someone who plans to get married, it's really important for you to make sure that the woman you're dealing with is going to allow you to be able to express yourself when you need to as a man. No, because with men, it doesn't happen very often. Let's see. What else do we have here? What else we got? What else do we have? Okay.
This is gonna be controversial. This is gonna be real controversial, but I don't care. I gotta get this off my chest, and I gotta let y'all know I cannot go into 2025 with people who are still looking forward to their daily horoscope. I can't do it. This war we fighting, I need some intercessors. Y'all over here carrying around sage? Y'all still got rose quartz. I get it. I used to have the rose quartz in my bra. Like, I'm gonna find me a nigga today. Yeah, this rose quartz, this rock gonna bring me my husband. I get it. I have been there. But what I'm saying is, I'm not there anymore. And
Okay, so perpetual husband seeker B. Simone is sharing of how she does not believe in horoscopes, rocks, and I'm assuming we could throw like zodiac signs all into the bunch of different. Oh yeah, we have a shirt there. She's wearing a shirt that says "God made me." Amen. And I do mean that genuinely, because I believe God made all of us. Right, that is my belief. But we're getting somewhere here. But she's facing a lot of backlash for her statements here. And I have to be honest. I understand why.
nothing against the people who believe in that. Just as for me and what I need in my life, I don't need a tool. I need the blood. So if you ain't covered in the blood, hey, you can't go into next year with me talking about did you read your daily microscope? I don't give a damn about what the horoscope say about Aries. What does Matthew 2 and 2 say? Can you pray? All them rocks, all them rocks and herbs. Do you know the Bible? I'm leaving that in 2024. I'm leaving that in the past. If you cannot intercede on my behalf with the blood of Jesus and you do not carry the Holy Spirit, you don't carry the Holy Spirit, but you carrying around herbs. If you don't get that dust out of my face and get in that prayer corner and pray for me, I need a friend. I need an intercessor. Jesus.
Okay, so here, this is going to be a highly nuanced conversation. And for those of you who cannot understand nuance and you need bad, good, bad, and you're emotionally triggered already, you're not going to be able to handle this, right? But for those of you who can understand, let's talk about this. I've said this plenty of times before that whenever anybody turns to God in any capacity and wants to do better for their lives, I support them. I support B. Simone. I support anybody. Even if you don't believe in God and you want to do better for your life, I support you. Here's the thing, though. I think just like the, what's her name? You guys know who I'm talking about. The last chick who I spoke on here, she was like a bottle girl and she was really popular on TikTok for giving dating advice. And then she turned her life around and, embraced God and so on and so forth. Good for her. But she came down really hard on the people around her. What I said in that video is, hey, I hope it's genuine. I can't say whether it's genuine. I am not God. And I would never brand somebody as you are sincerely living and communicating with God in an honest way or not. There are people who think they are God. They will let you know in the comment section down below. There are people who think they're God and they can read the hearts of men. Myself, I am not in the place to understand that. Now, when it comes to dating, relationships, and how she's moved so far, we can talk about that because that's observable reality. She literally in a recent video said, can anybody say why men don't approach me based on my online presence? And it was a younger dude she was asking for advice for, and he pretty much lied to her. Here's what I will say. I think there's this thing that's happening now with people who are online as they are interested, and as beautiful as it is to see people wanting to, from my perspective, as beautiful as it is to see people being curious about or going back to, right? Embracing Christianity or Jesus or biblical principles. That there's also this other thing that a lot of these chicks do where they'll now like turn around to the women who are still doing the thing they used to do and say, I could never see myself doing that and blah, blah, blah. And I get it. I get where they're coming from, but you would think there'll be more understanding from their perspective. Mind you, I'm somebody who does not play with horoscopes. I don't play with tarot cards. They're directly opposed to what I believe. Right? I don't mess with that stuff. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ. But if I was once very involved in that type of belief system and lifestyle, and I know my following, the women that look up to me, or at least used to look up to me, may still be left in that, there'll be some like humility mingled in there, some understanding of like, I was wrong. Turns out zodiac signs don't matter that much when you're looking for a husband. Even though there are people who swear that they do. I tell every man out here to not take a woman seriously who wakes up in the morning and waits for you to show attributes that coincide with your zodiac sign so that she could then justify your behavior that way or justify her bad behavior based on her sign. Oh, I'm a Sag, and that's just what I do. We love to cheat. By the way, I am a Sag. And I do acknowledge that some of that stuff is like weirdly on point, but using it to govern your life, using horoscopes that are made like apps and shit that are made by tech people to govern your life is crazy to me. It's insane. And then there's the other spiritual stuff that's completely opposed that I just will never personally embrace at all. But a lot of people are feeling some type of way about B. Simone. Check out this response.
I'm going to say something because B, you and I have been mutuals for quite some time, which leads me to believe that you followed me before you got to this point within your Christianity, which is fine. But also because you said on Instagram, if somebody wanted to talk about it, that you were open and willing. My problem with this is it's not controversial, it's concerning. Because Christians should be able to lead in love, and that love should be guided or therefore after followed by empathy. So your empathy and your love should have kicked in and told you, oh, if they're checking their horoscope every single day, it's obviously that they're seeking some sort of understanding. I'm wondering, where was your love and your empathy when you said, oh, y'all still carrying around rocks after you said you carried around rose quartz in your bra for 12 years hoping it was going to bring you a nigga?
Ooh, she carried around rocks in her bra for 12 years hoping it would bring her a husband. And guys, please do not, because, I get like, I'm going to get the Christians who are going to comment also and say something along the lines of, call it out. It doesn't matter how it does. It does matter. When I say that is in like context is everything. If you were the person who was preying on horoscopes and crystals, there should be a little bit of humility when approaching that, because you obviously believed it for 12 years, what it sounds like you.
Then you should understand they're operating within the same energy of desperation you were operating in, which should create more room for empathy and less room for judgment. I was wondering where your love and your empathy was when you said, oh, y'all still carrying around them herbs? Today is Christmas, and Jesus was gifted from the wise men frankincense and myrrh. Those are herbs. I get it. There might be things about our practices and our beliefs that you don't understand. That's the reason a lot of us left the church in the first place. God is not a last resort for some of us. He was a first stop. I didn't understand why we celebrated a virgin birth, because based off history in the time period, Mary was in an arranged marriage. She was a child. We celebrate the birth of a child who came from a child. Y'all shame teenage pregnancy in the church, but it's okay if it was the mother of the Savior. That's weird to us.
Okay. Now you're losing me. Now you're losing me. Now you're losing me. Now you're losing me. Now we're getting to disagreements, and this is where the nuance comes in, people. I disagree with all that, right? Like teenage pregnancy is okay, or you're now equating that time period to we should be okay with teenage pregnancy. Stop it.
But it's okay for y'all. So in that manner, we let y'all have your beliefs. We don't talk about you unless you come talking about us. Now, as I said, I'm always open to a conversation, but I rather recommend somebody that I think is more qualified to have this discussion with you, which is my mutual, my friend, Christian A. Smith. He is a pastor, but he's also a deconstructionist, because decolonizing Christianity is pertinent for your spirituality. There's never a reason to publicly misunderstand somebody else's beliefs to promote your own.
Now, again, to be clear, this is less about differences in beliefs. Of course, whenever these conversations come up, people speak passionately about what they believe and don't believe. I just think that overall, you'd probably get a better reception from people if you spoke from a place of humility, especially when it comes to you doing one thing for so long and then immediately doing an about face, right? There's certain people who other people forgive. They're just like, oh, you know what? This person's been pretty consistent. This person's been pretty consistent with their message and what they believe and so on and so forth. Doesn't mean that they never make mistakes, because we all do. We're all human and nobody's perfect. But I do think that for any chick who does this very quick about face, then immediately calls out the chicks who were living the exact same way she was, then they can expect a lot of people to come after him and try to humble him. I will also say this: if the type of Christianity that a lot of people are embracing, especially the women, is a feminist-based approach to Christianity, here's what it won't do. If you don't understand your role as a woman and as a wife, and you still think you can be a feminist within a marriage, then you're going to have a very, very hard time. Listen, of course, I'm curious to know what you guys think. Leave your comments down below. I appreciate you, as always, for checking out another episode of The Coffee Pod. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.